Who am I to offer him counsel? I only hoped to help the boy find his answers. And I failed. What's my role in all this now?
Tyr, you're at the center of this. You always have been. That's why Odin imprisoned you in the first place. He's terrified of you.
I doubt that very much.
It's the truth. And not just because of prophecies. No one has ever united the realms as you once did.
That is not who I am anymore.
I know you feel that way now. I've lost myself before. More than once, but believe me, there is something beyond that.
And what is that?
Purpose. Purpose is the path that leads you to yourself.
So you would have me accept my fate? Lead your armies into war, secure your vengeance.
If securing our justice is not your purpose, then find another.
Hang on! I got something for you. Sindri!
Coming!
Before you go traipsing off into the dawn, I thought you'd like to have this back. Well, don't go getting too cheery about it. But you're welcome.
I've collected what we need to find the Norns. Shall we go?
Madam Neathog? Madam Neathog, where have you...
Neathog? I suspect we may have consequences. To look forward to. Alfheim? What's there?
We still have unfinished business there. We found a Hofgufer out in the Barrens, my lady. In terrible pain. We freed it, but there's another interned somewhere beneath the Forbidden Sands.
A Hofgufer? I haven't seen one since I was a child. Lead the way.
Come on, fella. Let's have it. You mentioned you had a favorite poem from your homeland. What was it about?
A cunning general. The war overflowed in love.
I believe I've heard of this one. Did it involve a horse that was not as it appeared?
Yes, but that is not what happened.
Oh, Based on truth, then. And you were there.
Yes. I prefer the poem.
Much of the sand has been cleared away, but another storm rages beyond that pass, which must mean...
Another half-goofer.
Odd. It looks as though the Light Elves sealed off this section of the Barrens. Why?
Luckily for us, a very considerate goddess has enhanced our magic chisel, and we can unseal it.
My, that is lucky.
The forbidden sands lay beyond.
Contested territory, according to Bela. And another storm to endure.
I remember when Freyr and I traveled to this realm as children. The desert was healthy and full of life back then. I can't help but fear that era has ended for good and our efforts here are futile.
It's a fair concern. Healing this land will take more than a pair of singing half-goofer. But I have to believe, in the long run, we're doing right by Alfheim. Well, best we start looking for a way underground.
Keep a lookout for a cave! The other half-goofa must be under there! I see an entrance! I hope Freyr will appreciate our work here in the desert. I wonder if he knows how poorly this realm has fared in his absence.
Aye. Hearing the Song of the Sands again is a rare privilege, even if it's only a solo act.
Or a duet, once this Hofgufa is free. This architecture. It is not of the Dark Elves.
An abandoned ancient settlement by the looks of it. Built long before the Lightwell's creation.
More hive matter as well.
I'd say we're on the right track then.
This kind of hive material is sensitive to sound. How odd. When I last came here with you and Atreus, I assumed the absence of Alfheim's light was an aberration. I didn't realize it was ever on matter.
Aye. And as far as the Dark Elves are concerned, it's that light column in the center of the temple that's the aberration. Just look at how old some of these surfaces are. Far older than the Lightwell, or even our trapped Hafgifer for that matter.
That's quite the empathetic perspective, Mimir.
Well, dangle from a burly god's backside for a few winters, and you'll find yourself looking for all sorts of new perspectives.
More hive, but denser. Too thick for that. Maybe the Twilight Stone on the ground will help. Well, there you go.
Enemy behind you, Kratos! Yelfa!
Brother! The wee bastard's about to explode!
Enemies to your left!
Behind you, watch out! Right side!
Yelpa!
Light out.
Hit the light orb!
Behind you!
Yelpa!
Incoming! Above you!
Enemy behind you, Kratos!
Last enemy!
Yelpa!
Light elves don't often travel underneath the barons, do they?
Territory changes hands often in Nalfheim. Or so it appears.
Big Veer did mention that these ruins have historical significance for the Light Elves. I assume they're only here to keep intruders out.
At least they tried.
I suspect the corpse below would disagree. Good eye. Let's continue, shall we?
Poison at your back!
Aggressive!
Yelpa!
Another one! Left side!
Yelpa!
Watch your right!
right!
Hit the light orb!
I hope freeing these Hofgufas will allow them to breed again. It was a dazzling display once. The skies of Alfheim filled with their song.
I imagine it's the lack of fresh light that's caused this pair to grow abnormally large. No use in having babies if there's nothing for them to feed on.
Trying to protect their children from a harsh world. I can relate. I wonder if these two comprehend the choice they face must free.
What choice do you speak of?
The life cycle of the Hofgufa. In order to breed, they must pass on their light to their children.
And without light, they will die.
I suppose that's all any of us can hope for in the end. That our death has purpose. That we can live on through our children. Given another chance. Good. Almost there. Well done. Time to set it loose.
Aye, back to the surface then.
Right.
Used in many of Freyr's blessings, I imagine.
The fate of these creatures. It reminds me of a story.
Does it?
There once was a blacksmith whose king commanded him to construct a box that could contain all the evils of the world. But no metal could hold such power. So the blacksmith used the flame of...
Kratos, is this a story meant to ease my grief?
Perhaps it is just a story. A way to pass the time.
I appreciate the sentiment, but... well, your stories...
What about my stories?
I wouldn't exactly call them a comfort.
Fair. Mimir is the better story.
Now, don't sell yourself short, brother. You've come a long way from the days of laconic fables.
It's okay. Finish your story.
The blacksmith's daughter was the key to unlocking the box. He died trying to protect her from those who would open it.
Well, at least it's a relatable story.
It appears we've overstayed our welcome in Alfheim. Yet again.
The Alpha!
Time to end this storm.
Light orb incoming!
Take it off, man! You've got this!
The Alpha!
Behind you!
Behind you! Watch out!
Come on, Kratos! Off your back!
On your guard, Kratos!
Behind you, brother!
The Alpha! Lord, throw your weapon at it!
Light elf architecture. It's massive.
If my stories are of no comfort, take solace in knowing you did what you thought was best for your son's safety. Even these creatures know. There is little choice for a parent. You are not alone.
I'm not, am I? And now neither are they.
Wow, didn't know I could get misty. It's beautiful.
Thank you, Kratos. This land sings once more. We've done good here.
No rush to leave yet, is there? Who knows what kind of adventures await us in a freshly lit Barrens?
You know, I would have beaten you
What?
earlier, if Atreus hadn't been there.
Perhaps.
We could go again. Find out for certain.
I would rather not.
I'll bet you wouldn't. Mimir, I never asked how it felt to lose your head.
What would you have me say? That it tickled?
Merely curious.
If you wish to derive some satisfaction from my pain, I'm afraid you'll be disappointed. Kratos swung swift and true, didn't you, brother? I felt nary a scratch.
Shame.
This mentions a spell that puts trolls to sleep, and a magic relic that acts as a sort of counter-spell. Now, if we could get back to the story of Hrimthur, the stonemason's son, I was hoping to get Freya's version of what happened.
There isn't that much to tell. I knew nothing of it at first, surely because Odin didn't expect to lose the bet.
Set that aside for now. Come.
A light elf statue in the desert. Odd.
On top of ancient elven ruins? I'd have to agree. Ever written poetry of your own, brother?
No.
Well, ask a stupid question. Bloody hell! Look at that thing! Frozen! What now?
Alpha! Invulnerable when it glows!
Close in! Attack!
Changing arrows!
Give yourself an opening! Don't waste it!
Now! Attack the room!
Need to take out those springs, brother!
Focus on its room first!
Attack!
Nasty hit! You alright, brother?
Now! Attack!
Give yourself an opening! Don't waste it!
Alpha! That's it! The Alpha! Changing arrows!
waste it!
Well done! Just a few more strikes!
Well, yet another gift of Fimbulwinter, I suppose.
The magic draining out of all of us has to end up somewhere.
Lady, I was curious about some of the flora we've encountered on our travels.
And you will remain curious. It's not my job to teach you everything, Mimir.
Look, I was just asking.
And you have been told.
Oh, you can say that again.
Jewelry.
Oh? Put it on one of my horns. Let's see if I can pull it off.
No.
elven library.
An archive of knowledge.
No sign of the Light Elves.
For now.
Maybe they've left for the day. And we can browse at our leisure.
Here. These texts alone are not enough to end the Elven War. But restricting their access only serves those who wish to prolong it.
Taking a page out of Odin's book.
Aye. Quite the advantage for the Light Elves.
This book is sealed, but there is an inscription. The console.
Big Veer spoke of an exile of the same name. Odds are he'd like a gander at that particular text.
All this knowledge of their ancestors, their shared history, poetry, just sitting here, forgotten. What a waste.
So, these are the Valine schematics, eh?
You know of him.
Aye. One of the most gifted dwarven smiths around. Until he developed a conscience, anyhow. Ah, it appears the librarian would like a word.
Lata Frambog.
Sounds like she wants that journal back.
No.
Yelpa!
Shield strike!
They're healing!
No, Salva. Thought. Begivita. Helga brought it on.
She thinks she's protecting them by hiding all this knowledge away.
Our ally wishes to read this journal. We are taking the book.
She's gone.
That? Well, she's hiding again.
It matters not. The journal is ours. The work is done.
I'm impressed. Thought you were going to end her.
At last we traveled here, after Faye passed. I killed an elf of great importance. The ramifications were dire for his people. I do not wish to make the same mistake twice. A token.
A badge of honor. The elves made a few of these. They'd hang them up outside their doors. Show their support for
Come on, get up, brother!
Locked. It requires 2 keys.
What are they keeping back there?
That's the beauty of a locked door. It could be anything. Monsters, treasure. Knowing our luck, it'll be a bit of both. Freya, you were just beginning to tell us the story of Hrimthur, the stonemason's son, and the wager Odin and Vol'jin.
Yes. All right. A mysterious mason had to build the entire wall in 3 turns of the season.
2! It was 2!
And if he was late, he'd be owed a statue of my brother. How quaint.
This statue may have survived Freya's absence, but a truce clearly did not. Monuments are useless to those who ignore their message.
He didn't create a truce through diplomacy alone. His godhood, his very presence is what healed this land and allowed peace to take root. But once he left, he had to have known what would happen.
Well, he had good reason to leave. Some jackass convinced his sister to marry a madman.
You said monuments are useless. Why restore this one?
It was hidden for some time. Perhaps now it can serve as a reminder.
Aye. Nothing reminds people of their history like chiseled, well-lit marble.
These crystals contain their own light.
You're right. Normally we'd have to provide our own. Perhaps slotting a crystal on the opposite side could shed some light on this mystery. Looks like we can read the inscription now as well.
Light from the crystals. It is in the sand now.
Would you look at that? Freyr's gift endures after all. Or should I say, his presence?
You are not funny.
Actually here. The peace was fragile. Surely a bit of extra light in the desert isn't enough to make it last.
Before I met Faye, I could not imagine a life of peace. After her death, in our travels to Jotunheim, I found peace on my own. It remains my responsibility to make it last.
Perhaps the elves will find peace again one day, even without Freyr's guidance.
His presence continues to guide them, whether they realize it or not.
Freyr, can we return to your story of Hrimthur? You said if he built Asgard's wall in time, he was promised an audience with you.
Yes. Or so I learned one day when Odin burst into our bedchambers, raging and half-drunk before noon, telling me to get dressed and go see what the Mason wants. So, off I went, not knowing what had truly been promised or expected. Dagger stashed in my robe for emergency.
No more for now. Focus.
Getting back to your story, Freyr, you were forced to grant an audience after the building of Asgard's wall, yeah?
That's right.
Enough talk for now. Ready? The second key.
Sure enough. It's been a bit since we've unlocked the mysterious door. Excited, brother? Classic. Getting back to your story, Freyr, you were forced to grant an audience after the building of Asgard's wall, yeah?
That's right.
Another time. We must focus.
Getting back to your story, Freyr, you were forced to grant an audience after the building of Asgard's wall, yeah?
That's right. And this Mason, this giant in disguise.
His name was Hrimthur.
He just smiled to see me. And as you said, he whispered in my ear. He said the Aesir had killed his father, and he needed to know that one day they'd burn. I pointed out I was Aesir now too, technically. He gave me a look, as if he somehow knew it and continued.
Brother, wait. Do you notice that? once revived a giant's corpse to stop a certain fight we won't talk about. Could you call on that power again?
Maybe. Do you have a massive giant's corpse for me to revive?
No?
Well, there you go.
So, Freya, if we might finish your story. How did Hrimthur intend to get revenge on the Aesir for killing his father? Did it have to do with Asgard's wall?
It did. He said he'd built in a structural flaw behind the Asgard Realm Tower.
I knew it! How do we make use of it?
We don't. He said Surtur would know what to do. And if Surtur's approaching Asgard's wall...
Then it is already Ragnarok.
Aye. Blast it! I hoped it might have given us another way.
Something is coming, and it's not happy.
Charging! Go back! Careful, the gale! Watch out for the scales! Get ready! Get back! It's about to charge!
What on earth was a drake doing back there?
Your guess is as good as mine. Imprisoning a drake. Can't decide whether to be impressed or horrified.
Either way, it is over now.
Perhaps we can bring these two animals back to Vanaheim, or Midgard even. Becky and Spanna could use the company. We have kennels.
It would not go well for them. Once a predator becomes accustomed to a land, it is cruel to move them.
I suppose you're right. It just seems lonely out here.
It is peaceful. They have each other. It is enough.
Freyr, I've always wondered, why was Freyr so revered here so quickly upon his first arrival?
Well, to begin with, it wasn't his first arrival. Very few know this, but Freyr was one of the earliest visitors to Alfheim, back in the dawn of realm travel.
Not now.
You know, Freyr loved to breed Gulan pups in Vanaheim. I wonder if these two are the descendants of the Gulan he brought here long ago.
That explains how they got to the desert. Another gift for the Dark Elves. Freya, earlier you mentioned that Freyr was one of Alfheim's first visitors. Care to elaborate? I wasn't in these lands at the dawn of realm travel.
Well, We believed for a long time that all the giants had died in the flood, until one of them appeared in Vanaheim. Her name was Gerd, and she came offering to teach us the secrets of traveling between realms using Bifrost light. Freyr became immediately infatuated with her. He always yearned to wander, and along came someone who could truly show him how. So, wander they did, exploring the world tree from root to branch. But one day, it came time for Gerd to wander away. Freyr was heartbroken, and resolved himself to perform some great feat to win her back. He set his aim on the grandest of gestures. He intended to be the first to find the elusive source of Bifrost light.
Enough. We will continue later. Does it hurt?
Oh, this? Only when I worry.
How would Atreus get to Asgard?
I'm sorry, but you'd have to ask Odin. He's got control of every path. I know how highly you esteem our expertise on such things, so I'm sure that's disappointing. He's just been one step ahead of us.